So in a traditional classroom, without thinking about UDL and without really digging into that engagement piece, a child might come into that classroom and, might not see themselves represented around the classroom. They might be at the back of the classroom. Their desk might be at the back. They might not be seated next to peers and instead be seated next to a paraprofessional, and might, be, they might think that the best placement is a placement that doesn't really represent true inclusion. And then, it might be a classroom where a child doesn't have a strong positive behavior support system in place. And it might be a classroom where the standard learning objectives are up on the wall without really considering how to make those learning objectives more kind of expansive for all students. It also might be a classroom where things like making sure that students understand the vocabulary in a lesson is not considered. So those are just a few basic examples. And then if a child with significant support needs goes into a classroom that is omitting those things, then you can see how then, yes, there might be many excuses as to why that student, quote unquote, doesn't belong in that classroom. Well, it's because we haven't set up that classroom in a way that's going to be conducive to their learning first and foremost. And that's even before we, start thinking about how we're teaching and how we're evaluating learning. That is almost one of the, that's just the most crucial thing to think about in the implementation is that engagement piece first and foremost, because you can be delivering your instruction in a UDL way, you can be doing assessments, but if a child doesn't feel safe to learn, if systems aren't set up to support their behavior and the true inclusion of that student in the classroom, then I don't want to be in a space that I feel like that in, right?